funky, soul, pop, jazz, groovy, and most of all authentic. Thundercat is a one-of-one musician who breaks all traditional barriers that were set for his signature heirloom. You can't put Thundercat into one genre, and many words can be used to describe his sound. However, to describe him in one word is a near impossible task, considering his wide catalogue and his major progression as an artist who was present on some historical albums from rap and artists that are considered icons in this day and age. Thundercat's contribution to hip-hop in this day and age is majorly unappreciated until today. Thundercat and his bass guitar are like yin and yang, inseparable, but where did this eternal love for the instrument blossom? Stephen Lee Bruner was born October 19, 1984, which makes him 40 years old this year. However, he still has the passion for music. Born to a family of musicians, his father was a drummer for multiple bands including The Temptations, The Supremes, and Gladys Knights, amongst others. During this time, Ronald and Pam Bruner were raising an icon that would continue the musical family genetics. Stephen played in his high school jazz band, and this was the start of what was going to come. Stephen found his love for the bass guitar from an early age, and by the age of 15 he joined a German band called No Curfew. After that, he would follow up by joining his brother Ronald as a member of a Los Angeles crossover thrash band, Suicidal Tendencies, replacing their former bass guitar player. Some of Stephen's inspirations were Stanley Clarke and Marcus Miller. Stephen was lost for a while. He felt out of place within his rock band. Fortunately, he found Erykah Badu, who he credited for helping him find his stage presence and identity as Thundercat. He would play in live bands for Raphael Saadiq and Snoop Dogg, who would make witty comments about his playing techniques. Thundercat also credited Flying Lotus for inspiring him to release his first projects. The Golden Age of Apocalypse was his first solo album from 2011, which featured production from his good friends Flying Lotus, who inspired him to sing, and the album was influenced by 1970s fusion artists such as the childhood inspiration Stanley Clarke. Thundercat took heavy inspiration from the comic-sounding production and samples the Thundercats TV show, which he named himself after. The sound portrayed within this album is very retro techno, however, his precious bass guitar doesn't go unheard. At this time, he was still trying to find his sound, and this was clear. At the time of the album, he looked like this, a bit chubby, nappy hair, and generic. Apocalypse dropped June 3rd, 2013, and Thundercat returns with an interstellar sound that sounds sci-fi. This album is where he would find his first glimpse of success with his hit single, Oh Shit It's X. This is where Thundercat would experiment with expressing himself a bit more freely and pushing our expectations up from his first project. This felt more like the current Thundercat. At this point, he looked like this. He looks more cleaner, confident, and his stance, and happier. This same year, he would also co-produce some songs off of Because of the Internet by Childish Gambino. The confident young man would go from a one-hit wonder to a Grammy winner within the production of someone else's album. This album is no other than Kendrick Lamar's 2015 masterpiece, To Pimp a Butterfly. This album transcends the boundaries of a traditional hip-hop, taking listeners on a profound and introspective journey that challenges the societal norms and provokes a meaningful discussion on race, identity, and personal growth. Kendrick saw the use for Thundercat, and so he took up the opportunity and contributed to the songs Wesley's Theory, Hood Politics, Complexions, I, and These Walls. Contribution to the album made the instrumentals on these songs stand out and provide funky sounds and harmonies within the background of Kendrick Lamar performing some of his most influential and introspective lyrics of his career. Thundercat would finally achieve mainstream recognition from the Grammys for guiding the lower frequencies, contributed to the backing vocals, and is credited with co-producing 3 tracks. The Times article interviewed Thundercat after the release of To Pimp a Butterfly with the question, "How did you come to work on To Pimp a Butterfly?" He responded with, "The way it came was pretty organic. It started with Kendrick Lamar calling to a bass on a couple things, and I feel like it was a very new territory for him, even to try and call somebody to work in that capacity." One simple phone call from Kendrick reaching out to Thundercat for a bass guitarist for his upcoming album would turn into a life-changing project for the both of them, which won Thundercat a Grammy for the Best Melodic Rap Performance for his feature on These Walls. Thundercat would go from winning a Grammy for his melodic performance to completely embracing the melodies within his 2017 album Drunk. Drunk was the album where Thundercat found himself truly, and it shows within the bass, riffs, his humorous lyrics, and the pure energy coming primarily from his best friend. In this album, we saw Thundercat's best work by a long shot, where he finally embodied the authentic artist that no one has ever seen near before. Inspiration from a catalogue of genres leading into his upbeat, joyful album that sets him apart from any other artist in his genre, which he pretty much built from his personality. With a feature from Kendrick Lamar, there seemed to be a mutual bond being formed throughout the series of features over the next couple of albums that Kendrick would release, including Untitled Unmastered, Damn, and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, released 2 years ago now. Thundercat re-established himself as the main act rather than a backup band member. He had finally achieved more than just a viral song, though he wasn't finished yet. When you think back to 2018, only one hip-hop stands out among the rest. Of course, we had classics like Kids See Ghosts, Swimming by Mac Miller, or even Taboo by Denzel Curry or KOD by J. Cole. All these albums contributed to the year, however, Astroworld had the world of hip-hop in a chokehold, with tracks like Sicko Mode, Butterfly Effect, and Can't Say. However, one of the best songs on the album, Astro Thunder, was actually co-produced by the bass wonder Thundercat. Then, 2 years later, he would follow up with the release of his Grammy Award-winning It Is What It Is, which would have features from Zach Fox, Steve Lacy, and Childish Gambino. It's created another hit single, Dragon Ball Durag. Thundercat actually dedicated this album to his friend and frequent collaborator Mac Miller. This album would win him a Grammy for the most progressive R&B album at the 63rd Annual Grammys. Thundercat's contribution to some of hip-hop's most iconic albums has gone unnoticed at times, but his pure, authentic talent and personality create such a unique artist with harmonious melodies and strumming skills that would please his wife. Overall, Thundercat does not receive enough credit for his work, so if you are new to him, check him out, and thank you for watching. Cheers.